Tonight was John Eric Sullivan's first big real test as the new general manager of the Miami Dolphins. And what is one word that I have to describe the first round of the NFL draft? If I had to give you one word, I'm underwhelmed. Now, I'm not underwhelmed because of the players we selected. I'm cool with the players that we selected. There's a lot of positions at need for this team. There's actually too many positions at need, but the past regime and the contracts that were given out by the past regime put us in cap hell going into the season. So we literally had to bite the bullet, and we really couldn't do much in free agency to address needs. The only position that we really went out of our way and gave a lucrative contract to was Malik Willis, getting our quarterback for the now. I'm not saying he's our franchise quarterback, but right now Malik Willis is the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Going into tonight, going into this draft, not necessarily tonight, but going into this draft, they needed wide receivers, they needed offensive linemen, they needed defensive edge rushers, they needed corners, they needed safeties. I just listed off 5 positions for you. And they end up going Kadyn Proctor and Chris Johnson. Those were their two picks tonight. Tackle from Alabama and cornerback from San Diego State. So we'll have a quick little podcast as to how we got there. But before all the promotional stuff, as for tomorrow night, we have the second and third round of the NFL draft. I won't be making a video for Saturday. Saturday. It's just all day. It's going by so fast, and plus I got a lot going on Saturday. So I won't be doing a video Saturday, but I will be doing a video tomorrow night after rounds 2 and 3. But I will look at best players available tomorrow night at the end of this video. But for right now, the Dolphins tomorrow night are going to be picking 43 in the second round. And then we go to the third round. The Dolphins are going to be picking 75, 87, and 94. I would, if I had to guess, what's going to happen is they're going to trade one of those third round picks to get another second round pick. And I think, I don't know if I mentioned it on here or on TikTok, but the ideal way of going about this would be having 2 first round picks, 2 second round picks, and 2 third round picks. That's the way I would do this thing. So I'm hoping that's what they do. I'm hoping somehow they're able to get an extra second round pick and give up one of their 3 third round picks tomorrow night. That's what I'm hoping they do. So, but we'll see when the time comes. Before we get into anything draft related, we had a massive weekend here on the Big Five Fuel channel. We had WrestleMania weekend, okay, and it was big. We had 145 on Saturday. We had 325 on Sunday. So we had a big night here on the weekend of WrestleMania. Social media was blowing up for me. I did Raw after WrestleMania. No AEW on Wednesday because I was watching the Flyers last night, which, by the way, for all you bums in Pittsburgh that were chanting "fuck the Flyers" before the NFL draft, there was a crowd in Pittsburgh that were starting a "fuck the Flyers" chant. Y'all can go cry me a river because y'all sorry's asses is about to get swept out of the Xfinity Mobile Arena Saturday night by your Philadelphia Flyers. Cry me a river, Penguins fans. Cry me a river. But let's talk about the draft. So, really, things got rolling at after the Saints took Jordan Tyson. So the Saints, they ended up taking Jordan Tyson at 8. So I keened in. I locked in on 4 players that were still there. Um, Francis Mauigoa, Spencer Fano, Caleb Downs, and Ruben Bain. The 2 players I really wanted out of those 4 were Caleb Downs and Ruben Bain. I would have been absolutely elated if they got one of those players. The Browns at 9, they took Spencer Fano. Okay, that's fine with me. Then the Giants at 10, they take Francis Mauigoa from Miami. So 2 offensive linemen back to back, Mauigoa and Fano, or Fano and Mauigoa. They go to the Browns and Giants. And then, literally after the Giants took Mauigoa, immediately you pop up on the screen. The Dolphins are traded the 11th round pick to the Cowboys for the 12th round pick and 2 5th round picks. And the Cowboys ended up going with Caleb Downs. And that stung, right? That kind of hurt me a little bit because Downs was one of the players that I wanted. I thought the top 5 players going into this draft were Fernando Mendoza, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, and Ruben Bain. Those were the 5 best players going into the draft for me. And 2 of them were there at 11. So we ended up trading with Dallas, which is fine. And Dallas takes Downs. I'm like, okay. Ruben Bain is still there for number 12. Now the Dolphins are picking 12th. And I'm like, please be Ruben Bain. I'm so nervous watching this. And the pick comes in, and they pick Kadyn Proctor. So they went with Kadyn Proctor, which I don't hate the pick. I don't hate the pick. Is it a bit of a reach? I mean, maybe. Maybe it's a reach, but John Eric Sullivan has literally stuck to his guns the moment he got here. And that is that we're going to build through the trenches, building the team inside out, and you win through the trenches. He has stuck with that. You guys remember the quote when John Eric Sullivan said, the fast gets slower, but the bigger don't get smaller? Kadyn Proctor absolutely fits the criteria of the bigger don't get smaller and building this team inside out. And now you are adding a behemoth into the offensive line. He is 6'6", 352 pounds. The only concern with him is his struggle with weight. So that could be a big concern. Proctor, I guess they did a press conference or like Zoom call with him or whatever. He said it's a crazy, surreal feeling. I had good talks at the top 30 visit with the Dolphins. We kind of hit it off right away. I love the coaching down there. I mean, hopefully they could coach him to being a guard because He has played his entire career at Alabama, and he's been a left tackle his entire career. And this team already has a left tackle. Okay, we already have a franchise left tackle in Patrick Paul. Patrick Paul is going nowhere. I don't know. Austin Jackson's probably not going to be on the team after next year. He's contracted to be here through this season. So Austin Jackson is probably going to be on this starting offensive line this year. And then after this year, I would imagine Austin Jackson's not going to be on this team anymore. But the way I guess we could assess this is we have Patrick Paul, we have Aaron Brewer, and the other three we have to figure out where they're going to be. Jonas Savaianaya, Kadyn Proctor, and Austin Jackson. Maybe you move Savaianaya to the right side since he was a right tackle at Arizona. Maybe he's more comfortable with the right side, and you put Proctor on the left side. He would be a monster for a guard, and I really do hope this pans out because this was John Eric Sullivan's first big test. Okay, he was handcuffed with free agency, so this was the first really big test for John Eric Sullivan, and I really hope this move pans out. I want this move to pan out. Kadyn Proctor, he could be a freaking behemoth for this team. He could be a monster, just like Penei Sewell ended up turning out to be for the Lions. This is kind of what this pick reminds me of. And it also reminds me of 2 years ago when this team took Patrick Paul and social media the fans hated that pick, right? Fans did not like when we took Patrick Paul early in the second round, and he's our franchise left tackle now. He's going nowhere. Um, so more about Kadyn Proctor. He did say he feels comfortable playing anywhere. He says, I feel comfortable playing anywhere. I'm going to do whatever the coach tells me to do and go out there and provide for the team in any way that I can. All right, I like that. Means we could put him at right guard, left guard, right tackle. This is what Mel Kiper had to say about the Dolphins selecting Kadyn Proctor. The talent is in abundance. He should be a Pro Bowl player. He should have been a dominant player week in and week out when he was at Alabama. I think he qualifies somewhat as an underachiever. For all that talent, you got to dominate college. That doesn't sound very convincing to me, if I'm being totally honest with you. Um, and I totally feel like he fits the criteria of building inside out, building with the trenches. I feel like he totally makes sense for that. But also, what this tells me is John Eric Sullivan was dead set on taking an offensive lineman with that first pick in the first round. It was going to be Malagoa. It could have been Fano there. He was dead set on taking an offensive lineman in the first round. And I'm convinced if the Giants did not take Malagoa and they ended up taking somebody else, John Eric Sullivan would have stayed put at number 11 and he would have taken Francis Malagoa. But we ended up getting Kadyn Proctor instead. I'm not saying that's a bad pick. I'm also not saying it's a good pick. I'm very upset that we did not get Ruben Bain. A couple picks later, he ended up going to Tampa Bay. And when you look at this defense now, you have Chop Robinson and a bunch of nobodies. Josh Uche is far away from his prime. And then, like, who else is even on the roster right now? Like, Robert Beal Jr., Cameron Good, David Ajabo. I'm probably missing way more, but it's like a bunch of nobodies outside of Chop Robinson. And even that, Chop hasn't really done much, and he didn't do anything last year. Chop provided nothing last year for this defense. So um, that would have been a home run pick in my opinion. I don't the short arms, the 30-inch arms. Man, it was a force last year. Did you watch him against the run? Did you watch how Ruben Bain was able to get after the quarterback? He was amazing. He was a force. And I just feel bummed out that we passed up on him. I'm not necessarily too mad about missing out on Caleb Downs. That would have been phenomenal, yes. But Ruben Bain being there, and then we pick Kadyn Proctor over him, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty upsetting. It's pretty upsetting to me. So I really hope Kadyn Proctor pans out because um I don't know, man. It's just a little upsetting to me if I'm going to be honest with you. Um and then Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson was the other first round pick for the Miami Dolphins at number 27. Yes, they traded up to 27 with the San Francisco 49ers. They traded away pick 30 and the 90th pick in the third round, and they got the 27th pick in the first round and a fourth round pick. Solid player. Solid player. But, dude, they didn't need to trade up to get Chris Johnson. He would have been there at 30. If Sully would have just been a little bit more patient, I promise you he would have been there at number 30. He's a solid player. It says right here, Johnson thrived in both man and zone coverage for the Aztecs last year. He only allowed 11 completions with 13 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, and 0 touchdowns allowed last year. Okay? That's exciting. Not going to lie to you. That's exciting to hear. Dolphins fans were talking about him before the draft. It's a very corner-heavy draft class this year, which is great because this team absolutely needs corners right now. And it seems like he's going to be our cornerback number 1. And maybe we go and get another corner tomorrow night. I don't know. But they passed up on Jamon McCoy, Avion Terrell, and Colton Hood to get Chris Johnson. And you could just feel it. The moment that this pick took place, you could just feel it. This was a Jeff Hafley pick. This absolutely 100% was a Jeff Hafley pick. And I'm going to put my trust in that. We really have no choice but to put our trust in these draft picks because John Eric Sullivan and Jeff Hafley haven't proven anything to us that we cannot trust them with anything that they do. It is not like Chris Greer. But would I have been more excited if we took Ruben Bain or maybe we took an edge rusher or Boston or Cooper Jr.? That's another thing I want to mention to do that really made me pretty pissed off about the night is how the Jets absolutely crushed the first round. The Jets ended up getting 3 first-round picks. They ended up trading with the 49ers. The 49ers have the top pick in the second round tomorrow night. The Jets traded up. They got Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana. The Jets ended up getting David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, and Omar Cooper Jr. The Jets got better tonight, and that's concerning. That's concerning. And they have 3 first-round picks next year. So it feels like they're in the same boat as the Dolphins. But like if I had to pick a winner for the draft tonight, my winner would be the Jets. They made their offense better. They surround Geno Smith. He's got Brees Hall. They got Garrett Wilson. He's now got Kenyon Sadiq, Omar Cooper Jr. Like, they don't have bad weapons for Geno Smith at all. So that's pretty concerning. That's pretty concerning going into this year. We're looking at the Dolphins being the worst team in the division, which I don't expect anything from the Dolphins anyway. This is the first year of a rebuild. Like, it's not supposed to go well at all. But, you know, we could be looking at a very long season. And we'll see how tomorrow night goes. Tomorrow night should be very interesting. We addressed offensive line and we addressed corner. That does not mean we stop picking those positions. You get more offensive linemen, you get more corners. It feels like Chris Johnson is the number one corner. I don't dislike that pick as much as the Kadyn Proctor pick. But, I mean, it's just, to me, there were better corners. That's all I'm going to say. To me, I just felt like there were better corners out there. Jeff Hafley didn't think so. And that's why he's the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. John Eric Sullivan didn't think so. And that's why he's the general manager of the Miami Dolphins. So, we're going into the second and third round tomorrow night. And just one more thing, and then we'll get out of here. The top players available for tomorrow night in the second round, going into the third round, if these guys are even there. Cornerback Jermon McCoy, wide receiver Denzel Boston, safety Emmanuel McNeil Warren, that from Toledo, cornerback Colton Hill, cornerback Avion Terrell, guard Chase Bizantis, guard Emmanuel Pregon, defensive tackle Caden McDonald, defensive tackle Christian Miller, linebacker Jacob Rodriguez, defensive end Zion Young, defensive end TJ Parker. If one of those guys slipped to 43, John Eric Sullivan better be all over that shit. This team desperately needs pass rushers. If one of those guys are there, you bet your ass, you better fucking go get one of them. Cornerback D'Angelo Pons, edge rusher Cassius Howell, wide receiver Jeremy Bernard, defensive end Art Mason Thomas, and then safety Tredan Stokes. I think I said that right. I don't know. So, yeah, I'm gonna go look at Kadyn Proctor's little Zoom call. I'm gonna go listen to John Eric Sullivan. I'm gonna hear what Chris Johnson has to say. I don't want to hate these picks because this is the first year of a rebuild. This is John Eric Sullivan's first draft. I don't want to hate it like I hated the Chris Greer ones. Like, we look at Jonas Avainaya. That did not turn out well last year. So, we'll see, man. We'll see what happens, but we got more picks tomorrow night, and we'll be back here for rounds 2 and 3 tomorrow night for our Miami Dolphins. Fins up, and have a great night. Subscribe, comment down below, hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok, Conlon_Joseph. See you guys tomorrow for rounds 2 and 3. Peace.